Look, I love anime, but you know what I don't love? The anime simp trope. Like, everywhere you look, boom, anime simp. Boom, anime simp. Anime simp. Like, I swear, since the dawn of time, since they were still carving manga out of stone and rock, the first MC they ever created was an anime simp. Bro, I swear, everywhere you look, there's an anime character simping over someone else. And since we already talked about cartoons' worst simp offenders on this channel, I think it's about time that we go around and give these anime simps what they deserve and rank them on a scale of simpness, starting from a D tier simp, going all the way up to an S tier simp. Ladies and gentlemen, Exhibit A. Zenitsu from Demon Slayer. Now, if you're familiar with Demon Slayer, then you already know how Zenitsu gets when he's around girls. To be honest, I'm surprised this didn't bust a nut when Inosuke took off his mask for the first time.
You got a problem with my face or something?
I mean, look at his face when he first meets Nezuko. Bro literally looks like he lost brain cells from this shit. Like, he literally couldn't even process the situation. Which, I mean, is fair. For all he knew, his boy was walking around with a girl tied up and locked in his bag. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but that sounds like a plot to a horror story. So I get where bro's coming from. Anyways, right after this man literally powered up into Super Saiyan God mode and started white knighting this random girl he just met, trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho. And on the other side, you got this nigga Tanjiro and his sister Nezuko looking at him like, yo, what is this simp nigga on? I mean, this man doesn't know the first rule of bros over hoes. This nigga literally socked his friend in the face after they came back from battle on the brink of death, all because there were some shorties nursing them back to health. Like, what type of simp shit is that? These hoes literally got this nigga levitating like he's possessed by a simp demon. Like, how about you stop looking for these hoes and start looking for a priest? This nigga need a simp exorcism. And I won't lie, they kind of fixed his character later on in the series, making him more of a badass and less of a simp. But the point still stands that when you think of Zenitsu, one of the first things that come to mind is him simping over Nezuko. So taking all that into consideration, Zenitsu gets a simp rating of a B. Okay, if Nezuko was a B tier simp, then this next simp is about to break this fucking scale. Exhibit B, Sanji from One Piece. Now, it is without a doubt that Sanji from One Piece is one of anime's worst offenders. I mean, every single time this man's is in the same vicinity as a female, this can't help it but to bust a nut. Like, I've never in my life seen a nigga so turned on by a girl that he literally turned to stone. So this is where the term bricked up came from. So you know how in anime there's a trope that when a character gets, well, turned on by another character, instead of busting a nut, they will just straight up have a menstrual cycle coming out of their nose. I'm talking gushing out of that shit like Niagara Falls, straight. Well, if they had a contest for that trope, Sanji would win by a landslide. I mean, this nigga literally launched himself 85 feet into the air just because some anime thotties gave him some attention. But I have to say, the worst one was when this man busted a nut so hard and bled from his nose so hard that he deadass died. I mean, bro had the other straw hats over here giving him blood transfusions and resuscitating him back to life. Like, what type of simp shit is that? You're telling me this nigga simped so hard that he entered the gulag? And it's not like he got some action from these girls. They just looked in his general direction and he died. And taking all that into account, Sanji from One Piece gets a simp rating of an S.
What in the hell happened to me?
Now, next up on the list, ladies and gentlemen, we have Exhibit C, Granddad, aka Robert Freeman from the Boondocks. Now, I know, some of y'all may say that this show isn't technically an anime, but if I'm being honest, I grew up watching and loving this show, and you can definitely feel the love and admiration these writers and animators had for the anime art form. And I mean, if I'm being real, some of these animated fight scenes in the Boondocks look way cleaner than they do in a lot of these animes that we watch growing up. So I'd say it's fair to say that the Boondocks has earned its place on this list. Plus, Granddad is one of the biggest simps in animation history. Let me get into it. Now, this episode starts off with Granddad and the boys at the supermarket shopping for, let's just say, performance-enhancing pills, when all of a sudden you hear this one kid making a fuss to his mom, screaming, "I want candy, I want candy!" And Granddad, being the black man he is, looks over and sees this white woman who's just completely lost control over his son and doesn't know what to do. So Granddad, being the man he is, decides to walk his ass over there and give her a helping hand. And by helping hand, I mean helping belt. When I say this woman beat the brakes off this kid, straight up Ronda Rousey this little Chucky impersonating ass nigga, I'm talking minkum, monkum, munk. Needless to say, he got what was coming for him. And because Granddad stepped up and helped this woman, woman comes up to him and is all like,
"Not many men would stop to help a woman in need."
Well,
I guess I just hate to see a child go unbeaten.
I'm Cristal. Like the champagne?
And I mean, I don't know if he was just blinded by them cheeks or what, but Granddad missed every single sign that she was a grade A thought. I mean, from her groceries to her name being Cristal like the champagne. I mean, shit, this girl literally has House of Cheeks and porn star printed on her clothes, walking around looking like a walking STD. But Granddad didn't care. He was too busy wondering what that mouth do. So after all this, Granddad asked her on a date to Red Lobster, and she's not even impressed by that, but he still gets the date.
It just so happened I have coupons for the Red Lobster, cutie pie.
Okay.
And then he heads home with the boys. And on the way back home, Huey and Riley are telling him to watch out for that hoe because they know that she is just out for his money. But Granddad's simp ass still refuses to see it, even after they plead to him over and over again. A bit after that, we see Granddad and he's getting ready for his date, putting on his Captain Save-A-Ho cosplay. And Riley out here mad because he's feeding this random thought he just met cheddar biscuits. But the fam ain't getting no cheddar biscuits. All because in Granddad's simp mind, she's not a thought. She's a queen. Bro, look at her dismantle that plate. God damn. I'm not gonna lie, it was sad seeing Granddad simping over this thought, buying her luxury gift after luxury gift in exchange for her, well, favors.
I wish I could find a man who could swoop in like a superhero and save me from, you know, work. Kind of like a Captain Saving Me.
Do you know where I can buy a cape?
It got so bad that Riley and Huey literally had to follow her to take pictures of her thought activity to show him, but he still didn't believe them. Like shit, how you gonna trust this thought over your own family? And look at these fake ass shears she be crying, and Granddad simp ass doesn't care. He's eating that all up.
I try so hard with them.
Oh, there.
Well, I mean, that was until one of the show's most iconic characters, voiced by the one and only Cat Williams, walked in, called a pimp named Slickback.
My name is a pimp named Slickback, and I believe I may have misplaced some merchandise at this residence.
You see, this woman that Granddad was talking to was indeed a hoe, and Slickback was her pimp. So in walks Slickback, and he's looking for his bitch because she ain't been answering his calls all night, and right when he's about to slap the brakes off her.
You ain't gonna hit no woman in my house.
What woman, sir? This here is a hoe.
Not in this house, she's not.
You know, Granddad kind of cold for that line. He kind of cold, so I'm gonna take back some of what I said. But even after all that, even after all he went to save a hoe, Granddad still had to learn a valuable lesson. You can't turn a hoe to a housewife.
No, Daddy, wait! Wait!
She'll be back.
To be honest, guys, I can go way more in depth with the Boondocks and Granddad simp escapade, but I don't want to make this video too long. I could actually make a whole other video on that. You know what? If you guys want to see that, comment down below in the comments if you guys want to see a full breakdown of the Boondocks series on this channel. With that being said, Granddad gets a simp rating of an A.
I don't know, Robert. I'm not really cut out for...
I guess deep down, all grown-ups want to find that perfect person that'll guarantee that they'll never be lonely again. I still believe Granddad'll find his someday.
You see, in today's day and age, the term simp has transcended its original definition. Nowadays, the lines are more blurred than ever for what it means to be a simp. Is a simp someone who needs love from others so much that they'll give all they have, or just someone who's lonely enough to love with all they have? I guess we'll have to find out on the next episode of These Simps Must Be Stopped.
You can't test with me. You can't take the heat, then better exit, leave. Tell me why they all be trying to invest in me. They give a free body rubber, they all be rubbing a cabin and they be sipping something served like sandwiches. Yeah. Children be talking, that talk is an act now. Still running with pack on my back, never back down. He want dinner.